Master Indara,
Yes, my child?
we have unfinished business. Attack me with all your strength.
A new Star Wars series hit Disney+, but even before the pilot streamed, there was a lot of chatter all over the web debating the quality. So, how is the actual show? Is it worth watching? Hi there, it's Micha. If you'd like to get my take on the pilot, then join me for this review video. The plot takes place 100 years before the prequel trilogy, during the High Republic era, and starts with a young assassin seeking out Jedi Master Indara to kill her out of vengeance. Not clear about the reasons behind the attack, the Master dies an honorable death, giving her life to protect an innocent bystander. After the titles, we meet the assassin again, or so we think, by seeing a young woman by the name of Osha waking up on a Trade Federation ship where she works as a mechanic, a mechanic doing dangerous repairs on the outside of starships.
What is taking so long? Their grease grabbers are disposable.
You know, we can hear you, and frankly I'm hurt because Philip is clearly disposable, but me on the other hand, come on.
Very funny.
When two Jedi arrive to arrest her for her deed, one of them a former acquaintance, because Osha, as it turns out, once was a Padawan, she appears to be totally unaware of the killing and proclaims her innocence.
You think that I killed her?
Where were you last night?
On this freighter, in this room.
On her transport to Coruscant, some fellow prisoners break out and leave her behind.
Can you give me a hand?
Bye-bye, Jedi killer!
Resulting in her crash landing on a nearby planet. Meanwhile, Saul, her former master, learns about all this and, being convinced she is innocent, assembles a small team to investigate the crash site. There, Osha is having a vision while being unconscious, showing us that she had a twin sister.
May?
Hello, sister.
Who supposedly died in a fire along with her family when they were kids, making Osha think that May might have survived after all. When the search team finds her and takes her in, she shares her theory with Master Soul, who believes her. The episode ends with May seeking out her master, a mysterious figure in the distance, proving Osha's intuition to be true.
An Acolyte kills without a weapon. An Acolyte kills the dream.
Let me start by quickly addressing the controversies, if you want to call them that, the show has ignited online. This is the first Star Wars property with a woman, Leslye Headland, being the showrunner. She is openly gay and so are several cast members. This alone was enough for some guys to title the series The Acolyte, fearing an LGBTQ+ agenda behind it, and the predominantly female cast in a woman-centric story apparently was too much for them. Honestly, even if there was such an agenda, what would be the big deal? Anyway, I know from a friend of mine, a Star Wars superfan, who is also an ally, that many male fans were rubbed the wrong way by the way how the woman-centric approach was communicated, which is a pity. Though I get this, personally I'm not really bothered by stuff like this, as I try to separate a movie/TV show as much as possible from the talent involved and the discussions behind the scenes. If I'm able to do so, that is, as some things just can't be ignored. Of course, this doesn't keep me from enjoying cool and positive stories around people I like and developments behind the scenes of such productions. In any case, the showrunner of this series clearly is a huge Star Wars fan herself and a genre connoisseur as well. If you like to get some insights into some of the thoughts that went into the show and the casting, check out the wiki page. Now let's finally look at the episode itself. To get it out of the way, I liked it. For starters, I thought it to be a clever idea to have it take place in a different time period, so that there are no preconceived notions standing in the way of the storytelling. There's no one around we may know from the other franchise properties, so the writers had a clean slate to work with. Well, In theory, Yoda could be around somewhere, as his species lives long enough. They might even bring him in for a cameo, though I would not be sure if I would even want to see that, as it would take away from the clean slate and might draw attention away from the actual plot. The plot here is more a mystery than an action-orientated setup, with the big question at the beginning being, is Osha a liar or suffers from dissociative identity disorder? Or is there a shapeshifter somewhere around? Sometimes the easiest explanation is the most elegant, a twin sister. The next mystery will be around her motivation to kill Jedi Masters, who she apparently blames for a crime, and the identity of her master, who may very well be a Jedi hidden in plain sight somewhere in the show's cast, a Sith Lord in hiding, or a Force user with their own agenda like in Ahsoka. This setup apparently came across as a bit boring for some reviewers, as this, taking place in a time of peace, basically is Star Wars without the war. Personally, I think this kind of a different approach to be quite refreshing. Maybe let me give you a quick overview on where I stand with Star Wars, so you can better put my opinion into perspective. I love the original trilogy, saw them as a kid, and it made me want to be a director. A dream I still haven't given up on. For me, Return of the Jedi started the trend of catering too much to kids with adding slapstick to large fight scenes, with the prequels even leaning further into that. Overall, the prequels were too void of substance and personality for me, too slick and too much CGI. The sequels started promising but ended up in a mess that made the prequels look good. The standalone movies, Rogue One and Solo, were solid, though you already knew the future of the characters, which took away much of the thrill, which is a problem I have in general with prequel stories. Mandalorian, great, though season 3 had some issues. Book of Boba, loved the character, but the show should have had more scope and, well, more focus on the actual star. Obi-Wan Kenobi started out promising, turned to shit in the back half. Andor, haven't seen it yet. Ahsoka, mixed bag, some issues, but no total loss. Now you're caught up, so back to the show. I also enjoyed the diversity in this show's cast, including having a big Korean star in one of the lead roles. They used this along with the fact that Carrie-Anne Moss's appearance immediately reminded us of the kung fu scenes in The Matrix to heavily lean on martial arts aesthetics in the fight scenes of the show. I could see some people complain about it, as some of the moves looked like having been taken directly out of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, by which I mean cool but not always realistic regarding physics. But hey, we are dealing with Jedi, so different laws of nature apply. By the way, I was a bit surprised that they killed off Carrie-Anne's character so quickly, as I expected her to have a larger role. But I guess she will pop up in some flashbacks here and there, likely in a larger one, when we learn about the twins' past and the crime the Jedi may or may not have committed. Overall, the show does a great job engaging us with a new storyline and fresh characters. The only thing that sometimes takes me out of the plot a bit is the fact that Seoul actor Lee Jong-chae's quite heavy accent totally sticks out in a world in which everyone else magically speaks perfect accent-free English. Doesn't change the fact though that he does a great job in the role, and I appreciate his casting. And with that being said, let's get to the rating. If you can ignore all the chatter on social media and fanboards, then you will likely find yourself enjoying this new entry in the Star Wars universe. The acting is great, the effects are fantastic and largely done practical, and the story, if you dare to engage, is intriguing and mysterious. Some people complained about the dialogue, but I didn't find anything glaringly wrong with that. I mean, the dialogue in Star Wars movies and TV shows never sounded that natural to begin with. I mean, have you seen the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and Attack of the Clones?
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
However, I do not know if the series honors all of the lore and canon of the franchise that goes beyond the movies and TV shows I listed. But as they also tried to connect it to the Star Wars The High Republic multimedia project, of which I wasn't even aware until now, I guess they are doing well. I'm rating this first episode with 8 out of 10 points. Not sure if this score will be upheld, as some Disney Plus shows recently disappointed after a promising kickoff, but so far I'm happy with it. As 2 episodes dropped the same day, I found myself watching the second one straight away, which is always a good sign. But more on that in another but shorter review video, skipping all references to the online debates and my general Star Wars stance. Promised. What about you? Have you seen the first episodes already, or did you wait based on all the online chatter? Is there something objectively wrong that I missed? Or do you also think that much of the controversy was fabricated? Whatever you like to share, let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, share or subscribe. So much for now, see you next time and thanks for watching. The plot takes place 100 years before the prequel trilogy. During the High Republic era, of which I wasn't even aware until now, I guess they are doing something.